And first of all, thank you, and thank you all for being here on this Sunday. I know it's like Sundays are for free and then enjoy our time, but thank you for your time being here and be part of this conversation. Basically, I can say conversation, uh, just to know some more, just because everybody expert in some of their own ways of working out there. First of all, my name is Rama. I'm a full-time teacher, and I've been teaching almost for a long time. Just been teacher in the U.S. is almost 18 years in the public system, public school system, taught in middle schools, high schools, even community colleges, and I train a lot of teachers. So, and then on top of that, me and my wife, help students on the tutoring part, all that stuff, and it's changed from the beginning when I came here to now how we talk to the students and how we work with the kids and how the education system is being evaluating or how it's just changing. It's always nice to see how it is changing, when you're in the same field, because we talk to the every day, like almost like 100 kids every day. So we know how these kids act, behave, and how they answer questions and all those things. So welcome everyone. And again, this is a kind of like a session. I would like to put it as you have some questions, you can ask me, and I can help you with my best of my knowledge as being an educator, as a parent. So what's the best way to go with it? And so those are just to make it a little simple conversations wise, because I don't want you to be put anybody in the spot or anything like that. Just feel free to ask questions, and I can just go ahead and then explain it to you guys what's the best way to go with it. Okay, and we will start from there. Um, First of all, just to kind of like put this education system here, as you guys already know it, I don't need to tell, but first elementary is from kindergarten to all the way to the fifth grade. So kindergarten to K to 5 elementary, and then you have a 6 to 8 middle school, and then 9 to 12 high school. And then after that, all of the kids goes to the colleges, and that's where their story begins, and adults and all those things. So mainly the kid in elementary or kindergarten, like mostly the one teacher will teach, but most of the schools and public schools, and then one teacher teaches like all of these subjects. But in some schools like bases, they have a different moving around. And then obviously a lot of middle schools, there's one high school. Depends on the. Can you guys hear me clearly? It says my internet is unstable. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, good. So, and then coming to the high school is a couple of middle schools. They have one high school in the community or the where you're living. So, and the high school buildings are huge. It has to go from one building to the other building, and it's like a little different experience for the students itself. So that's basically the school system. I want to put it simple words. But coming to the what's important, like from middle school onwards to the high school and then moving forward to the colleges. So I'll put it just a little bit of a couple of things. And then at any point of time, if you have something like, hey, can you tell me more about this? And feel free to ask. And just I'm more than happy to stop and then talk about it. So most of the middle schools, let's say, 6 to 8, and this is where the most foundation for the high school, I can say. Again, so elementary school is the foundation for the middle school. Obviously, that moves on there. But middle school, we see a lot of changes. It's physically and also the mentally, the kids are a little bit, it's off track. We see them just because there's like a lot of hormones kicks in. They're trying to explore their friends and a lot of things. And if you have a middle school kid, probably you may notice that as well. So, but when they get to the high school, probably the 10th or 11th grade and 12th grade, we call this as a junior and this is senior year. Then you see a way different kid from the school student perspective, and they change a lot, more matured, they're more responsive, and I see that every time. And then there's a big difference from middle school to high school, the kids, how they behave and act and all those things. Okay. Now, coming to the education point of view, from the middle school, I strongly suggest some of the schools they offer pre-algebra, and algebra, and then also geometry courses. I strongly suggest as a teacher and educator, if a school is offering an algebra or the honors algebra, some of these of course, please have them to take these, because there's one program or the programs some schools offer. If they take the algebra or the geometry during the middle school, they can get a high school grade. Okay, what does this mean? So what is the meaning of high school credit? Being in a middle school, kids can get a high school credit. Means when they go to high school, they don't need to take these classes because they already took it in the middle school. But they need to be, what you call as the school should offer, and they give you that credits to them. Because I see recently, basic schools, they stop giving those credits because this is, I know a lot of you guys are not sure whether you know or not. Basic schools basically, a little bit advanced. They try to teach them all these in the middle school. If they continue with their schools, they continue more, but otherwise they don't, transferring these credits. Just anyways, that's a different story, but that's one thing. Similarly with the high school, and then kids can take college credits as well. Okay? Which means when they go to the college, they don't need to take these classes anymore, like AP classes or the dual enrollment credits. So these are all college classes. While they're in high school, they can take these. And then if they get a good scores and they're good to go, they don't need to take in the college. And I strongly suggest if the kids are in the AP classes and also dual enrollment classes, pay more close attention to them, because if they take the same class when they go to college, one thing, it is like more stress, because there will be normally in the colleges, because all the other trades also take the same class. Let's say this AP calculus, and the engineering students will take, biology students will take, even some other majors will take. So there will be a lecture classes, probably 200 to 300 kids in a same classroom. So it will be a little bit hard, and because so will be a lectures when they go to take this classes in the college, and on top of that, it's very expensive, because like probably in general, in state or outstate, you're looking around like $300 to $900 to $1,200 per credit. So which is obviously way expensive. And then fourth one is the time. So if they take it in the high school, and obviously they save some time, they don't need to worry about it when they go to college. So it's all important, if your kid is in the high school, try to put them in, or try to have them take some AP classes or the dual enrollment courses too. Okay, that helps them in a bigger picture as long run too. Okay, so I'll hold on, pause on for now. You guys have any questions? Feel free to talk and just say hi or anything like that. It's not any formal session that just need to lecture you or anything like that. Just as a friendly session. Suresh Pastor asked me like, hey, can you provide some?
Hey Rama, good evening. So can you please elaborate what is dual credit class? The last one.
Information. It's like, yeah, for sure has a.
Rama, looks like you're okay.
Yeah, I think connectivity issue.
Rama, looks like your internet is not stable, I know. your video gets paused,
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
yeah.
Okay. Sorry,
Yes.
some reason my internet is like on off today. So going back to the dual enrollment credits, they're just the college credits, but they use it for the community colleges.
Okay. So
Yeah,
so
go
what
ahead.
is community college?
Okay.
Is it
So there are two things, like let's say there's two things, like universities,
yes.
university. Let's say if I'll take an example of ASU in the or UOA. So like there's big universities there in every state. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, in between, there are some community colleges. Community colleges are they're they're not really university, but they can still give you some trade certifications. Let's say you want to be a nurse. Instead of going to the university, you can go to a community colleges where they offer the nursing program. Or you want to be teacher, you can go to a community college and then take the classes. Or you want to be a firefighter, so you don't need to go to the university for that. Or you can just go to community college and then take those classes. Okay, so that's basically community colleges is like a cheaper. I mean, like cost wise is less expensive than the universities. But if you want to, they can only after like 2 years of the course, then you need to transfer your credits to the university. Does that make sense? A little bit.
Yeah. So those
Yeah.
who do not get admission in university, they might move to community college, or
It
from financial
not
standpoint.
not necessarily. Let's
Uh,
say not necessarily they need to go to community college. Let's say some students what they do for the cost effective wise, because universities are a little bit more expensive. I'm talking about regular American students wise. A lot of the other Asian population, Asian kids, they directly wants to go to the university. Okay, that's always the goal. But I see a lot of the other trades, other students as well. What do they do? First, they go to community college. They completed some prerequisites. So prerequisites, they complete those prerequisites here, and then they transfer these credits to the universities. That way, what happens is they can save some money. And if they really need to go to the next level of university, they can transfer, or they just stop, where all they needed that credits, and then they go to some trade school, can be a carpentry or something. They can go to that also. Okay. And the kids can go to community college and transfer to the university also, or they can directly go from the high school to universities as well. Is that sounds correct? That sounds okay? Do you understand what I'm?
yeah, I understand. So from cost
Oh,
effectiveness, this is an option. But
right.
in that case, right, means there is a specific quota, right, for every university. So, for example, every year they do enroll 400 kids, right? So,
Mm.
is there any specific quota for community college students to
No.
migrate from community to
Mm-mm.
university?
No, there is no quota or anything like that. There's no, best of knowledge, there is nothing, you go to community college, you can get some discount or anything like that. All they are same regular as the other kids as well. Okay. But the only thing is like if you take this dual enrollment classes, when you go to community college, you already done a couple of courses here. Okay.
Okay.
Just like the university, like if you take some AP classes, when you go to university, you're already done with those courses. Similarly, community colleges, you take some dual enrollment courses. That way you're
Mhm.
done with some of the classes in the community college. So you can graduate faster and then go faster to the university. Okay?
Okay. Mhm.
Rama, Sunil here. I have a quick
Yep.
question.
Please.
So what happens to a student who missed, the pre-algebra, algebra, geometry in their middle school?
So mostly there's no missing part, but school to school, and just before the answer this one, Is all of you guys are from Arizona or anywhere else from the different state?
I'm in
Yeah.
Florida.
Florida, okay, good.
I'm from South
And
Carolina.
South Carolina, okay, excellent. So we have, in the last 6-7 years of tutoring online, and we have students from all over the U.S. and especially in South Carolina and North Carolina and Florida, even Texas. There's a lot of different curriculums they follow. What I want to say, if a kid is missing the geometry or the algebra, pre-algebra, there definitely is not going to miss, because in the public school system, the way it is designed is 6th, 7th, 8th. These are the three middle schools, right? And then 6th grade math, 7th grade math, 8th grade math. This is the general regular structure. But some schools and some curriculums, they accelerate. That means kids are super good or smart. What they can do, they create another class for them. And in that class, they do offer, instead of like 7th grade math, they offer pre-algebra or the algebra if they're really good at that. And then 8th grade, instead of taking 8th grade math, they can go to geometry. And some schools, like in Florida, we have always the students go during the summer, they take the geometry if they want to really advance to it. Or summer, they take some algebra classes. And then when they go to high school, they submit the scores to them and then directly place to the algebra 2 or maybe in pre-calculus as well. Okay, is that making sense?
Right, Rama. My question is
Yeah.
around the same. I mean,
Yeah.
what happens when they go to their high school?
Mhm.
So will
Mhm.
that,
So
will that be that, the student needs to cover all the three
exactly.
during their tenure in the high school,
That's correct. So according to the state, every state has a requirement for the graduation. Okay. So this is according to the state is they have to take 4 years of math, 4 years of math in high school,
Oh.
and then 4 years of English. And these are the basic requirements. And then there's some electives and the other ones, science. And then recently they introduced the economics and then government. There's a one test. I forgot we give that test to the kids. They have to pass.
Hello, sir. You're freezed, I think. Look like your internet connection is poor.
Then what they do, they place it into the algebra 2. But in case the kids are did not take the geometry or the pre-algebra, 9th grade, they go to the algebra 1. Algebra 1 or 1-2, they can say that too. And 10th grade, they take the geometry. And then 11th, can you guys hear me? Is it my internet is still?
Yeah, there was
Can you hear
some
me?
disturbance, but now, yes, it is better.
No, it's good. Yeah. So 9th grade is the algebra 1. 10th grade is the geometry. 11th is algebra 2. Algebra 2, or some schools they say 3/4. And then 12th grade is pre-cal or something like trig. That's what the normally high school setting is. But those kids are already done with algebra and geometry in the 8th grade. They directly placed, here is the algebra 3/4. And then they go to the pre-calculus. Now the College Board introduced AP pre-calculus. Instead of just pre-cal, they're giving the AP credit for this too. So, which is a lot of kids can take advantage of it. So last year they introduced AP pre-cal, and then after that, AP calculus, and you can take a lot of more AP statistics as well, based on what students want to do. If they want to be a nurse or doctors, I strongly suggest to take the AP statistics and also AP biology and the other stuff too. So based on what the kids wants to do in the college, they can take those AP classes. Okay, so that's how the structure will change based on where the kid is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. So that's the basic idea. And also, I know today we're going to a little bit of talk about, PSAT or the NMSQT, just to give you some idea on the PSAT and NMSQT. So when it comes to the middle school is done, and then high school, they move on to it. And then from high school to the college, when they go to the college, so let's say high school is completed or not completed, it's like in the high school, and then they're moving to the college. There are three things they needed for the college, basically. One is the GPA, which is called grade point average. Basically, the grades. Whatever the grades students are getting from the school, that's the GPA. And if some of you guys don't know how do you calculate GPA, we can talk more. You can call me. And the second one is the SAT or ACT scores. And then lastly, college application. So this college application, we could just a little talk about it. And if you have time, we can talk about the most NMSQT as well. But let's talk about this one. So GPA, it comes from the like courses they take every semester. They get an A or B or those things. Like A is 4 points, B is 3 points, C is the 2 points, and then D is 1 point. So if your kid is getting a D, please have them retake it. Okay? It's 1 point is not going to do any good to the GPA. Matter of fact, it drops the GPA. So it's just like getting an F. When they go to college, there is no D. Let them know that. So there is D is not a good grade. Okay? And the next one is the F. So if the kid is getting A's or B's, so their GPA will be between 3 and 4. If they take some honors classes, definitely they will get you the more GPA, which is always better for them when they go to college. So that's the, a small picture. We can discuss more in the next time, maybe when we have another meeting, maybe deep down, and then see how to take care, how to get a better GPA, what are the things to focus on. We can work on those. But right now, just kind of give you an overall idea. And then when it comes to the SAT or the ACT, the scores, they will submit it to the college. So one is GPA, and the other one is SAT or ACT scores. And lastly, college application. When it comes to the SAT or ACT scores, and they will submit it along with the other things. And this SAT or the ACT, they will take probably 10th grade or 11th grade. Okay. But there is some PSAT, you can always start from 8, 9, or 10, even start from the 7th grade also, pretty much. The kids can start taking PSAT from middle school onwards, but mostly they can take PSAT 10, and the NMSQT, which is kind of like a National Merit Scholarship Test. This is significantly kept it for the 11th grade. All juniors.
Okay. So I have a question here for NMSQT. So this is National Merit Scholarship, right? And as we know, right, we are mostly non-migrant, or means non-immigrant. Non-immigrant
All
people.
yes.
Most of us are on H1 visa, and then in
That's
the
correct.
green card process, we will get green card after n number of years. Right. So is NMSQT applicable to us, because we are not the citizens here?
Yes. So that is the main thing, is all the Asian, Americans or the Indian community, or our community, I can say, take advantage of it, this NMSQT. And no matter what your visa status or the status in the US. As long as you go to a school in the US, you're eligible for these scholarships. Okay, so even the kids are just came. Even some kids, the parents are F1 visa. Their kids are, no matter what where visa status is, they can eligible for the NMSQT, these scholarships. Okay, but there are some other scholarships they may not be eligible, but most of the scholarships, yes. Like they have some Hispanic scholarships there. That means they're only the Hispanic community they can apply, and there are some scholarships for the first generation, and that means you're the first kid going to the university that they can apply that scholarships. And then there's economically background. That's different scholarships. But I think as most of the, so our community, we don't fall under that like economically background or low in that case. So it's mostly, and this test is the, helpful for them. Like, in the past, we have students when they got the good scores, like all 4 years, they got a free ride, means 4 years of college for free, basically. Okay. All they have to pay for the dorms and books, that's okay. Yeah. So yes, it is really important.
Sir,
Any other questions?
One more question, sir.
Yeah,
So
please.
PSAT should be any attempt should be count measurement is there or any number of times they will do?
They can take the PSAT is basically preparing for the SAT. In general, you can attempt even the SAT also. You can attempt as many times you want, because then the College Board gives them some particular dates they can apply it to. So based on the dates, you can always enroll your students to them. So that way they can take as many times. But again, let's say in the last SAT, I got 1,400. Okay. And then this SAT, I got only 1,200. And you can still submit this score. College doesn't care, like, the highest score you can always submit. So you can suggest the students to take them multiple times. It's always okay. Okay. But they can always submit the best scores to the college.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
But what I strongly suggest these kids to be is like, don't think of like taking, oh yeah, I'm going to take one more time. Don't think that way. Take the first time, get the best score, and then you're done with the one piece for your college. So that way you don't need to worry about too much for the next thing, So one piece is done, and then you can focus on for the next piece. Because otherwise, every time the kids take these SATs or ACTs or PSATs, it's always a stress. As a parent, we get some stress. Are they studying or not, and all those things. But at the same time, students' point of view, they have a stress to study for the test, and on top of that, they have to focus on their AP classes and school grades and all that stuff. So my suggestion is study well, take one time, get the best score, and then out. Maybe take 1 or 2 times. That way you can see if you have a better score and you can submit. Okay?
Yeah, maybe I could ask offline if any courses related with the PSAT or you guys are giving anything?
Yeah, we do. Matter of fact, I just want to introduce myself too. Again, my name is Mr. Rama, and I'm a full-time teacher, and also I train teachers with my district. Being an educator for the past 18 years in the US. And then, and on top of that, we're a group of teachers and tutors who work together. We support kids from K3 to college level, almost like 11, 12 teachers works with me right now. So we offer from AP classes, high school credits during the weekdays. We started after school time, and then we tutor a lot of the students. It's pretty blessing for us to help. We were able to help a lot of students all over the US. So far, I can say active students we serve pretty close to 300 plus kids, and which is very, very blessing, so the kids can get that scores, and it was really happy to, when they do well, that gives me happiness to, I always tell you this story just pretty quickly. Please forgive me this quick story. 2 years ago, I was at my friend's house, and then there was a student. His name is Plain Jane, and he went to base area, and his mom called me. Her name is Janki, and then she told me, "Hey, Mr. Rama, Prem wants to talk to you." As a teacher, first thing came in my mind is like, "Oh man, why he got in trouble or something like that?" That's what first my brain says me, like, "Okay, tell me, Prem, what's going on?" And then he told me, like, "Mr. Rama, I got a perfect score in my SATs, and I got a letter from the Harvard, want me to join." I was like jumping, and then it's like really happy, and then sharing with my friends. It's like, I went to a friend's house and we're having a party. So I was like so happy. That's what the power of, like, when the kids, they share that's things with us. That keeps me going to teach and do this a lot. Just right here, testimonial, and like, I just want to put out there. There's so many kids, like, they do well, they share their things, and this is the reason why I'm an educator, basically. Otherwise, we could be taking off and then have an Netflix series going on. But it's always good when the kids do well. That brings a lot of joy. Sometimes they say like, "Aha, that makes sense to me." That's all important for us. Anyways, there's more here going. So yeah, we do offer that SATs, and PSATs with us. But anytime if you need some help, please feel free to call us, or call me directly. I'm more than happy to guide you guys whatever ways can go through. Okay. Yeah, coming back to the high school piece. So that's the NMSQT, and there's a lot of scholarships. Please, if your son or daughter is a junior now, the NMSQT is this month, yeah, close to October. In the October, they take the test. It depends on what school you go to. They may vary from a different day, but all of the tests should be done in the month of the October. Some schools, they offer at the beginning or second week of the October. Some schools, they wait until the last week of the October. But they have to finish this test in the schools October. Okay. So if your kid is a junior, then this NMSQT it's a golden path. They have to study really well. Okay. Unless if it is 10th graders can be eligible, but if this kid is completing his scores in 3 years, okay, that is only the condition that 10th graders are eligible. Otherwise, all the juniors are eligible for this NMSQT. Okay. Questions on this one before we move on to the college application? Good. Okay. So the final piece for the college
Rama,
is,
I
yes,
have a
please.
question.
Oh yeah,
So
please go ahead.
yeah, I heard that ACT is majority of the students who gives ACT is for medical and SAT is for engineering. Is this correct understanding?
Not necessarily. It's SAT or the ACT scores. You don't need to submit the both scores. You can just give the either SAT or the ACT. Okay. It is not necessarily for the medical or engineering, but what is in a student's point of view, ACT is a little bit easier compared to the SAT. Okay. And that's what the test level of the testing is easier for the ACT, but SAT is a little bit tough. And the second thing is ACT, they have to study for the science piece also. But the SAT, they only for the math and reading and writing. That's it. Okay. And then also another thing is, like, most of the ACT, they try to go through the local colleges, but the SAT is like, they can go any college in the US. They can apply for
Okay.
any colleges in the US, but not necessarily, you got to go to the science, you have to take this, or not necessarily. They can submit a one course. Doesn't need to be both. Or they want to submit both, that's also fine. But nothing hurts. They can just take one. That is good to go.
Okay. And
Yeah.
both examination coordinated by or organized by college board, or both are
College
different
board.
college
That is
board?
correct.
Okay.
No, both of them are college board, including NMSQT. It is also from college board.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the major organization in the US. They've been evaluated. They've been changing for long from, even for the SATs also. Just a little bit of story of the SAT. Once upon a long time, it used to be a negative marking, just like in India, MSAT and all those things. They take that off, and then they used to be essay writing. It is a part of the college. They check those, and then they remove the SAT, like essay part. They don't need to write anymore. It's an optional. And then before the pandemic, a lot of the colleges like, oh, we don't need SAT. And then that changed after the pandemic. And now recently the college is coming back and we need that SAT scores. And on top of that, they more change it to now it is online. Everything is online. Okay. So including ACT is not there yet, but again, SATs and NMSQT, PSATs, everything is online. They shorten the test also. So it's changing, evaluationary, whatever. So it's changing, okay? But for now, everything is digital. That's the main things, okay? So and lastly, coming to the college application.
Yeah, but one question I have. So regarding this
Yeah, please.
Yeah, regarding SAT and
Yeah.
GPA, submit to college, which one gets high priority, whether it's a GPA or SAT score?
It's all three equally represented, I can say, because that's the reason when I say that colleges, you have to have GPA, your SAT scores, and lastly, the college application. So these all three, elevate the students to the best candidate for the college. Okay. So all three are important. Yeah. Yes.
So Rama, actually GPA, right? GPA is a 4 years long commitment, whereas SAT or ACT is just a 3 month or 4 month commitment. Right? So from that context, my understanding is or was like GPA is having 70% contribution, then SAT is having 20, and college application. I don't know what is college application, but I was, when you were explaining, I was thinking like 70, 20, and 10.
No, there's no particular percentages are given to.
Mhm.
Even once, if you think of the GPA, right? The GPA also, it's it's hard to match or compare apples to apples, frankly speaking, because when it comes to, let's say, kids goes to some hard schools or very accelerating schools, getting an A, it's difficult compared to some other schools. You guys probably, know it. And, it's really hard to compare A from my school to the A from your school. You know what I'm saying? Even from teacher to teacher. Let's say it's, even your students say something like, oh, this teacher is super easy. I can get a super easy A. And then this teacher is super hard. I cannot even, whatever I do, he never gives me. You know what I'm saying? So there's no consistency in terms of the GPA. And, frankly speaking, some schools in Arizona, some schools like, basic schools, they're a little bit tougher. It's hard to get an A, but there's some public schools, you can get an A. So it's really hard to compare the apples to apple. But when it comes to the SAT or the SACT, they're standardized test. No matter what school you go to, you're taking the same test. So you're comparing the, more closely. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is the main piece. It tells you, since GPA is really hard to compare from from school to school. But anyways, is what happens in the college, how it goes into it. It's all a different story. So finally to the college application, and when the kids are in 12th grade,
I have last question
and
regarding
they
this.
start working with their, yeah, please go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. So this SAT score, right? At the beginning you mentioned that 1400. That's what I can see here on your screen. 1200, 1400. So what's the baseline number where parents can think for the retake of the SAT exam? Like 1200 is a comfortable number, or 1400 is a comfortable number, or 1000 is a comfortable number? Because see, we Indians, right, are always thinking from numbers.
Yes. This is the maximum score for the SAT. Okay, 1600. And then PSAT is 1520. That's maximum scores. They can get it out. So anything is 1500 plus, it's considered as a really good score. Same thing with the PSAT, close to 1500, it's a really good score. Okay. So that puts them to the percentile. Again, it depends on the test also. And probably it's not about the percentages, it's a percentile. It's a percentile is different than the percentage. And where the percentile is compare the kids from the test level, you know. For example, let's say I give a big test, and then kids got, everyone like only got 70%. Okay, so 70, like out of 100, only 70 is the maximum score. That means the test is super hard. So the kids, they get close to 69, they still be good on the SAT scores. Even let's say if the test is super hard, they get only 1400 scores, because of the percentile, they could be considered. But mostly, this is what you're looking at. Okay, this is the maximum score they can get. Anything is 1550 for the SAT, it's a really good score. Okay, so, and I strongly suggest to kids get close to 1550 above. That is always good, because we have a lot of students do get those scores, and that's what we want to see those kids. So does that make sense?
Yeah, that completely makes sense. So there, so I'm just trying to understand so elite score, right? So for them, they have certain criteria, like they do have a criteria or cutoff, like 1500 is a cutoff for top 10 school. Then top 20, they have cutoff of 1450 or 1417. So is this a standard across the years, or they do vary year by year?
They go by year. Okay. And again, as I mentioned it to you, that depends on the test, the percentile. So if my daughter or my son are getting 1550, if that year that test is super hard, or that year, and 1550 could be the 99th percentile. Or super easy, everybody got a 1600, and then that 1550 may or may not be the right score for me. Okay, so it all depends on the test to test, but anytime 1500 plus is considered as a score. Okay. Okay. Lastly, let's get through the college application. And the kids, when they are juniors, basically 11th grade, they try to finish it up, their SATs and ACTs, how the score is ready for them. And then when they go to the 12th grade in first semester, and then they need to start working with the college counselors. Every school has a counselor. Depends on if it is a bigger schools, some from the last letter A to some letter, they will assign one counselor. And then from this letter to this letter, there will be a different counselor. Please let your son or daughter know, find who is your counselor. And the counselors still, then they're not only for the high school, they're in the middle school also. Okay, so the counselors will help them to applying to the colleges, what they want to do, and all those things. It's a good resource in high school. Okay, so along with the work with them, they started applying for the different universities, what they wanted to measure on like that. So when they apply it to this one, there is one thing, they have to write an essay and then answer a couple of questions. Because this essay is basically your past experiences and then simple words, how can you be a good fit for this university? How can you manage, like, be continuing for the 4 years or 2 years through us? So all those things is considered. And I have a lot of American teachers, they help for students to guide them in the essay writing. They kind of like ask the students' past experiences and then put them together. And then they go through their essays, kind of like guide them a little bit so that way they can get, they can get some support. Okay, so those are the 3 pieces. They have to, submit it to the college, and then once they're college, then life in a different story. Good. Well, it's a lot of good time, and I thought to go over some NMSQT information. Seems like it's almost an hour close to. Any other questions? Quickly, we go on to a couple of other things as well.
I have 2 questions. One is, as you mentioned, right? So school teacher means the 12th grade teacher, English teacher, they do support kids for the essay writing.
Mhm.
Am I understood correctly? Means they do review and help kids to write the essay precisely. Means
It's
student
the
normally,
yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I thought it's completely on student. They have to write the essay and they have to submit. But yeah, this is good if teacher, right, 12th grade or 11th grade teacher helps them to review and help them to write and submit the essay. That is really helpful to kids. Definitely, yes.
Hmm.
But I was not
No.
sure. I thought it's completely depend on parents and student only, not
Hmm.
on teacher.
No, not necessarily teachers, as a regular school teacher, they do teach from the kindergarten to the high school. They follow the curriculum, they follow the standards, and everything is up there. And it then depends on the students to students. Sometimes kids are good in English, and sometimes they're good in math. They have their own strengths and then their own weaknesses. But if you, in reality, public schools, including me, I teach almost like 150 students a day. So frankly speaking, there is not really enough time to address each student. Okay?
Correct.
Yeah, because we have to grade papers, and every day the test is like 150 papers, and on top of the classroom, and it's different culture than any other countries. The kids are more liberal. You can't say anything to them. Sometimes they're missing the school. Sometimes they chit chat with other students, and it depends on the classroom cultures. So, some kids, there are some schools, like some schools are it's really hard to teach for the student, for the teacher, because they're so rowdy and they talk constantly. There are a lot of discipline issues. There's so many things in a classroom, as a teacher's point of view. And some experienced teachers, they know it. They know the structure. They're good. Even you can ask your son or daughter. They tell you what classes are more structured, which teachers are good, which teachers are not teaching. A lot of stories out there. But again, it depends on private schools to public schools and charter schools. There's different strategies. Teachers, charter schools, sometimes they have only just, it's hard to hide in this teachers, certified teachers. They just go hire some graduates right away. And then the graduates, some kids are good, but some kids, they don't know how to teach. These kids are kids. You have to have that skill to teach, because we need to know their psychology. So that's the important piece. But anyways, this is a lot of topics we can talk any other time, definitely. But yeah, any other last minute questions? Maybe we can, Mr. Suresh Pastor can just do one more session like this sometime. Maybe we can discuss more sections, keep going deep dive into it more. So that way it's going to be more beneficial too. Any last minute questions? Any words you want to say?
Yeah,
Is there
I have
any
one question.
interview? Is there any interview after submitting this application? Like, for example, my daughter submitted an application for at 5 different universities. So every university do conduct an interview, or they will evaluate the kids based on these three component like GPA, SAT, and college application. How does it work?
Most of the times, it's basically your college application. I really don't think in any real interview processes there. Okay. Haven't not 100% sure for the hardware, so like the bigger universities, but in general, any public or colleges, all you have to turn in your application. Then they just to go over the application, and then they kind of like start the kids out of it. And then on top of that, the kids can apply a lot of scholarships, and then that scholarships can like help them to reduce the cost. Like, for example, I just put up some scholarships up right here. There's so many scholarships kids can apply when they're in the high school itself. There's some few of them. They can definitely apply more. But these are the, in general, scholarships they can go along with them. Okay. Yeah. So I don't think there's an interview process. Then probably I might need to ask the kids, find out what really there is an interview. I don't think so long.
So one question here for SAT exam, when we need to start writing the SAT exam, can we start from 9th grade onwards?
Yes.
Do you have any upper limits, like these number of times you can take?
Right. So I think when it comes to the SAT, and there is a PSAT 8-9, you can start it from the middle school onwards to see where you are stand in terms of the, getting ready for the SAT. And some schools in, I think is North Carolina, there is or South Carolina, one of those schools, they have the PSAT scores as a norm when they, to get into some particular courses. Because I had two kids in the past, they mentioned that I did it just, Tallahassee or someplace. They have to take that SAT in order to get into their courses, higher level courses. But otherwise, there's definitely kids can take from 8th grade onwards. But my suggestion is at least from 10th grade is the best time. They have to put the 10th grade along with the school and start studying for the SAT. In my opinion, 10th grade is the best.
Okay.
But they can take from 8th grade. They can study from 8th grade. I have students, they started from 7th grade onwards for the coaching. So, but I strongly suggest for 10th grade is the optimal to take this test. Okay. Any other questions? Or anybody wants to say good words, or do you think it is helpful?
Yeah, it's really helpful actually.
Okay, excellent.
So one thing probably from the middle school point of view, high school point of view, maybe you can give some section on next time. For example, PSAT and SAT need to cover in the high school starting time period, correct? So that should be helpful actually. What are the things we need to for the middle school, moving to the high school? What are the things should be kids take? It should be advantageous. So the next session or sometime it should be sounds good for that instead of going with the college level, I think.
Yes, there's a lot of story. We kind of like, we put it together like in close to an hour. But there's so many things we can go in depth and slowly and then discuss it, how we can help your son or daughter. That definitely we can create those things as well. And then please feel free to share with any of the students need some help. Again, we have a lot of teachers, and not only this piece, we offer the tutoring services as well. If anybody needs some help, please feel free to reach us. We can talk and then discuss and see what we can help. But as a teacher, I strongly suggest to focus on reading and writing. And if you're elementary or the middle, those two things are really important. And if it is elementary, definitely, I strongly suggest you to focus more on the reading and writing and comprehension skills, because kids do well on the reading part and comprehension. They can do well on the rest of the subjects, like including sciences or anything, including math also, because I see a lot of our students struggle with the word problems. Let's say if you have any problem solving skills they need it, they struggle with that. Let's say some kids, like, we send kids to the Kumon, nothing wrong with the Kumon. They only have like rote memorization. They never focus on the vocation problems. And then when it comes to the SATs, of course, the questions are all conceptual based. Like today I was talking to one of our SAT class, and this question, you can see on the screen quickly. This question is very simple if the kids understand the concept behind. And then we talk about all these concepts, and then I give a little technique. All you have to add these numbers and then divide by 2, that's your answer. So we give those techniques to the students, like how can you solve the same question in less than 10 seconds? And otherwise, it's really hard for them to do the math and then work on through all the problems itself. But we give those techniques so that way they can answer these questions faster. Okay? Because all these tests are time tests. They have a limited time.
And one more question, sir. So if anything, the resource available sample questions or anything, you guys have it actually SAT or PSAT related sample questions or any resource materials?
Yeah, so I mean, frankly speaking, this is the world of the information. Everything is online. But those students, they register with us then because we offer those tutoring services. We do give them first pre-test. It's online, and it's like a digital SAT or the PSAT or the NMSQT. And then based on that, we will know their scores, and we send them out detailed reports to them. And then after that, we teach either one-to-one or and then we provide all the resources, materials they needed for our tutoring services itself. But if you need something, please definitely reach me out and we can provide you some. But otherwise, there's a lot of information on the internet. But the only problem is, there's a lot of videos out there. The kids doesn't make sense to them if you're explaining it to them. Then only it makes more sense. Otherwise, its explanations are pretty long and kids get bored and then they don't focus more. And that's one of the reasons it helps to get them to some training sessions, whether it's the parents or friends or some tutoring centers like us. Definitely you can get that help as well too. Okay.
Sure. Thank
definitely
you.
You can please reach out to me. So definitely I can provide.
Sure. Thank you.
Any final words? Yes. Any final words? Because then it's already 6 o'clock. I have another another session coming up there. So anything else? Guys, if you're not on this on us or on the system, we always send those informations to us. Please go to our website, and my name is Rama, and I just add a math to it and then .com, and just put a contact us and just fill it out, the student information here. And that way you guys are on our system. Anytime we do some of these free sessions, it's automatically send an email to them, so that way you can join and take advantage of it. But do not hesitate. Anytime you have something in mind, anytime you have some questions, please don't hesitate. If I'm in the school or taking some classes, I won't pick up the call. Just leave a message or text. I can respond it to you guys. Otherwise, my direct number is always on the website as well. So you can just always use that and then call me, text me. Okay.
Sir, one more last question. Where we can find
please.
this recorded section? You have this recorded section, correct? Where we could find.
If you can send me your Gmail or then I can send it to you guys, all of you guys. Please put your Gmails on there. I can send the recording to you guys. Okay. Yeah, just leave it your chat, put your Gmail, or Gmail or any email, doesn't matter. so I can definitely, once the recording is completed, and then I'll send it to you guys too. Yeah, awesome. Any more questions? Again, happy to answer any questions, but just like a little punch because the time crunch is out there. But we help a lot of students. That's what and thank you for Mr. The CS pastor too, and he invited their parents in the church. Hopefully this session is helpful. I'm hoping, but anytime as an educator, because my teaching style or point of view on education has changed dramatically from the beginning when I came to the United States to now. The kids' way they learn, it's way different. So hopefully this session has helped a little bit. But if you need something, please don't hesitate. Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful weekend and stay safe as fall break is coming. And hopefully we can get some relaxed time. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Amma. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for the help.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
Thank you for the help.
Thank you for the help.
Bye. Have a good day.
Good day.
You too. Take care, guys.